Okay, on the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, we did a bunch of grinding in the Chapter 3 area. I think we have to get some more Georamas to be able to go to the Lighthouse is our next goal. We might be able to get to the end of Chapter 3 today and then start up Chapter 4. Definitely got into a bit of a groove when it comes to clearing dungeon space by using the mech. It's been going much better lately than when we first started. This way. Yes, please. I need to decide who I'm going to be leveling up, though, as part of the issue. Now, I may have needed to do something at the lighthouse. I don't know if it let me leave. If I needed to go build something first before I can do anything there. I guess we'll find out. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. Looking forward to the weekend. I think we did Amnesia a couple years ago for Halloween. I don't know, what day was Halloween this year? What day of the week? Let's head back to the past. Okay, right, we did that thing. It's a key item. Here we go. It's a Wednesday? Probably not then.
Are you ready? Yes.
Are you ready is one of Cameron's favorite phrases. So I always say it in her voice. Are you ready? I know, right, Yukipo? I guess it's good if the week is going by fast, right? That doesn't always happen. Sometimes it just drags.
This moon crystal may be lighting up the ocean here, now, but one day it'll be bright enough to illuminate the whole planet.
Me, Andrea, Kat Donovan, and some of our friends in Los Alamos are gonna, hit up the town with this Pokemon Go event.
Really?
Finish my Kanto decks.
You could call it a hunch.
You know everything, don't you, Master?
I'm going back in time to save this guy.
Master, what's that?
Oh yeah, they're not gonna announce Animal Crossing. They'll announce Animal Crossing, Mother 3, Waluigi for Smash.
What in the...
Peace on Earth. Oh, that guy's got pretty cool armor.
So, that's the moon crystal, eh? Yes.
Turn it down a bit. It's a bit up from playing yesterday. Mario RPG 2.
Shows you the future. Even though all there is to see in the future is darkness and despair. What shall I do? Destroy it. Those are Emperor Griffin's orders. Yes, sir.
I think we saw Griffin briefly in the opening scene.
Do you
with
think
Monica.
the light will beat the darkness? No, I think the darkness will beat the light. Jesus Christ.
I haven't played Dark Cloud 1. I actually owned it and played it for an hour or two. But I know, right? Kingdom Hearts will be back. I'm not going to beat it in time for Kingdom Hearts 3, but it'll give time for everyone to beat it and to kind of tap out on Twitch. Silver Hair McFishy, but he was an Emperor Griffin, I don't think they were saying. If he's not, then Emperor Griffin must look way more badass. Significantly eviler armor. Well, so much for going back in time to save the day.
Lynn, you wait here. Max, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. She wasn't planning to do anything else. Stand and stare. I'd like to get to the new Dragon Quest at some point. Curious how much has changed and how much has stayed the same.
What's going on? Who are you?
Couldn't have gone back in time 5 more minutes, right? I think we went back in time and we just waited for the event to happen.
That's Gaspard. How
Gaspard?
did you get here?
Gosh, it's disturbing to see you, Gaspard. Looking so down in the dumps.
Watch out! The lighthouse is on fire!
Dude, it's been on fire since. Okay. You climbed it while it was on fire.
It's all right, Lynn.
It has to be a localization problem, or.
Where are you going?
I'm going to use the crystal.
Master!
The whole point is to stop this from happening. Also, this guy can jump like a motherfucker. It's a sage. It's a pretty sweet song. She's a jumper too when she wants to be. Please don't have me fight them solo with Monica. She's definitely not strong enough to handle it.
Well, well. A visitor, eh? Hey, Jammy,
Right.
why don't you head inside?
Yes, sir.
Gaspard! Remember me? It's Monica Raybrandt.
I know, right?
Raybrand. Yes, you must be King Raybrandt's girl. My.
That's her.
Imagine that. Running into a princess in a place like this.
You tore my kingdom to
Oh,
bits and
sorry,
you murdered my
don't know
father.
you.
Now you're going to pay.
Murdered? Oh, now that hurts. Your father and I fought fairly. He simply wasn't good enough to beat me.
In a fair fight, my father never would have lost to the likes of you.
Well then, why don't you just try me for yourself?
Get ready, Gaspard!
Oh, I'm super screwed. I'm gonna have to skip these cutscenes and grind next time.
Fire!
Head towards the center!
Okay.
Okay, do I get like fire elementals maybe? I guess we'll see. Hey, it's a cutscene. I love it. Shit, it's not all a cutscene. I'm so screwed. Ow. Yeah, super screwed. I take half my health with each hit. I only have so much bread. I'll reload after, it'll be fine. Whoa, that wasn't expected. Oh, that's kind of cool. Protect Lynn from the flame. Shit, yeah. Oh, yeah. I like this. Okay. Now back to the heart fight. Go ahead, jump at me. You know you want to. Can you not? Right. Direct translation, exactly. Okay, I gotta bread her as soon as I get back. The lighthouse is on fire! What? What makes you say that? It seems like that's the right attack to try to get. Should be able to dodge it most of the time. I don't like when it knocks me back like that. That sucks too. Come on. It did. Makes it much harder to dodge now. Especially if I'm locked on. One of those lock-on gets you in trouble fights. Very common. Hey, look at that. All I needed to eat a shitload of bread. Show me this.
Can't believe this. Well done. Your skills surpass even your father's.
Accept it, you lost.
Her owl sword.
Huh? What was that?
What in blazes? We're under attack from the moon crystal. What should I do? Blasted wizard.
Right, sir.
Annihilate that lighthouse. Yes, sir. Ah!
I think it might be. Right, yeah. I love when that happens. I feel like you have to put in the extra effort for monstrous-looking characters. Either with voice direction or with, like, post-processing effects. But Skyrim is really bad about that. You have these, like, lizard and tiger people that just sound like Steve on the block. Now that you mention it, the lighthouse might be on fire.
Crest!
That has to have been an error. Like, the script must have called for the lighthouse to not start to be on fire until they got to the top. But the artist put it on fire earlier. There's more fire than is usually on the lighthouse. Not again, man. That was the whole point of us doing this. Maybe it's a time loop. And we already did this. But that's not consistent with the way time travel works in the rest of the game, so it's unlikely.
It's no good. The ship's going down. Get us out
I
of here.
didn't have to gulp. We're good at jumping in cutscenes.
Master, don't leave me.
Lynn, you're not hurt.
No, Master, but you can't die.
I'm ready.
No, you're going to be a sage. You still have a lot of training left.
Lynn,
Where's future Lynn?
you do it. Please. Fulfill my dream.
She was actually destined to be the sage all along? What?
No, I can't. Not without you.
Oh my god!
Although actually, it was sort of obvious. You will. You'll be a sage. Saving people just by being there. That's the kind of sage you want to be, right?
That would be nice. Wouldn't it?
Future Lynn realized the lighthouse was on fire and stayed outside.
Master. Master. No.
Well, we failed. Next time, go 5 minutes further back. I guess he still protected the lighthouse, though. I don't know what else he would have done.
Master, can you see? The stars are beautiful. I wonder what kind of sage you wanted to be. To me, you already were one. For ages and ages, you were a sage from way back when. I was saved just by having you with me. But I'm sure you didn't want to be a sage just for me. Right, Master?
So the word sage, first I kind of interpreted that to mean like
I'll show you.
a job, like a position, like being the magistrate or the janitor or something.
You've always dreamed of becoming.
Maybe they mean like guru or like very wise person. He was not like polishing his CV to apply for Palm Brank's sagedom. He just would one day be a sage through study. Super mage dude, yeah.
We couldn't save him.
But I don't think it's like Archwizard.
I guess not. You're wrong. What do you mean? The future changed, all right. Now I'm going to be a sage. I promised Master Crest.
Wait, what did our interfering have?
And
Okay.
I think I'll rescue him when I become a sage myself.
What?
Good. Monica,
That's a Shenmue-esque good.
I'll never forget you. You bet.
There was a
Take care
fire?
of yourself, Lynn.
Evil fire spirit's like, this is an unwinnable fight over here. There has been a change in the future. Perhaps something will happen. Can I open up all the chests now? Is the risk of losing stuff gone now? Sorry. There's not a save point here, but I'd like to save before I go in there in case I screw something up. Let's make this pretty music go away and go get the funny train station music. We'll come back. Oh. Playing it safe, saving the game. We want to be in... I actually didn't want to come here. We want to go to Balance Valley. My bad. Alright, well I think I'm just going to open all the chests. I'm going to hope that it's not bugged. So I lose some max health, it's too bad. Oh, it was right here. Cool. Perfect. The lighthouse is on fire. What?
Madam Crest.
What?
It's them? I'd almost given up waiting.
This is like really far in the future too, isn't it?
Time coming. Huh?
It's kind of cool though.
I've been waiting for you to come. You see, I've become a sage just like I promised.
Does she have an egg for a nose?
Tell me, Lynn?
No way. What did
Dominion of Deterrence.
Rude. I am Lynn.
What? So you made it. You became a legendary sage.
Yes, that's right. But I took on my teacher's name. There's no need to explain why you're here. I've got a fair idea already. Because I've lived my time.
I wonder if that's the
straight
same
through,
voice actress.
unlike you. So, shall we find out about Griffin then?
I do like that kind of time travel stuff, like with Robo and Chrono Trigger.
Yes, that'd be great, Lynn. Don't address me like that. You must call me Crest, the great sage.
Is it appropriate to call yourself
sure.
legendary? Or
Sorry.
great? Worshipping cultist dudes. Juan's actually a pretty humble dude, I feel like,
10,000 years in the past.
given that he's the goat.
10,000 years?
That's right. It seems that he's sending an unthinkably powerful consciousness from that time to ours, all by his own doing.
Oh, it's like Earthbound's
The
plot.
servants of Griffin in our time are those who are in sympathy with this consciousness.
Griffin is... what they're seeming to imply about his power. Griffin just seems like a very... nondescriptive name? I don't know. It's like if you had like some Cthulhu monster and named
They're all being
him
controlled?
Baron Johnson or something.
They're acting of their own free will.
Any game we've played on
They're
stream
evil
is
from the beginning,
fair
just
game.
like Griffin himself. In other words, they've sold
Oh,
their
that's
souls
something they
to the
reveal in the
darkness.
first few minutes of the game with Buzz Buzz.
Griffin is using those
I keep thinking her
people to
nose
try
is an
to
egg.
destroy the world.
Like they decided at the last minute to give her an old lady nose, but all they had was an egg
What is
model.
the plan on getting out of that?
So they just pasted it on her face.
But I believe the only way to stop him is to go to his time and destroy him there.
Looks like it's gonna hatch into a
Go
Yoshi.
back 10,000 years?
That's right.
But how can we go 10,000 years in the past?
Your Atlamelia can only travel 100 years at best. Those stones were never intended for this kind of thing.
We gotta get a super Atlamelia.
So what can we do?
An Atlabelia.
A 10,000-year leap through time. I don't even know if it's possible. But if it could be done,
Go on.
those from the Lunar Lab would be the ones that could do it.
Lunar Lab?
Luna Lab is short for Lunatic Wisdom Laboratory.
Fucking course it is.
It used to be the largest research facility in the world. It was on the Venikio coast.
Does lunatic have a different meaning in Japanese or an obscure meaning that I don't know?
You mean that it's vanished now too?
Yes.
So, the Venikio coast is next.
So, that settles it. You'd be-
Or is it just a badass sounding English word?
See you, Lynn.
Aki Fall's not here to throw a vote for Lunatic Pandora. Sounds like a Toho stage.
My master, watch over those children. Look after those who saved me.
3 Crest Moon. Go to the Pink Floyd level.
Lynn was a sage and had become strong. I'm sure Crest had become a star and was looking down on Lynn from above.
Disease is thought to be caused by the moon, right?
Because for Lynn, Crest would always be the one true sage. Forever.
Lunatic Pandora is just kind of a cool sounding name. It's also somewhat like science associated, doesn't really involve mad scientists in FF8. Yeah. Oh, there he is! Hey, Aki! How goes it?
Great, you're just in time. We're ready to go again. Just let me know when you're all set to go.
Okay, Colonel Campbell. Fix my shit, please. Oh, bummer. Hope it passes. Send you my healing energy.
Alrighty, let's move them out. Ocean, here we come.
The train door windows above eye level. Different artists worked on them? I think I got, there's a Phantom Memo Eater missable scoop that I got. I guess there's a flying battleship one that's missable? I don't think I got that though. Maybe it's elsewhere in the stage though. Oh, you know, I probably had to take a picture during the fire sequence. No, I don't feel bad about missing that. What inventions would it have unlocked, I guess?
Smell that ocean breeze.
So this is what the ocean smells like.
Flying battleship. Oh, apparently we do get another chance to get it. Okay.
What? You've never been to the ocean before?
Yeah, well, I've seen pictures and books though.
Wow.
Alrighty, we'll be right here waiting for you.
Hey, now it's the bridge that's down. Leave it to us.
Thanks a lot. Well, let's get going.
Alright, we gotta get more bread. Gotta fix my shit. Fix my shit, please. Thanks. The rest of the world has been destroyed. Buy weapons. Never did look at her crap. Okay, I think this is a pretty good price for these, but they also drop fairly frequently. New abilities. Gives you bonus points when upgrading swords, will sell you tools and swords. Aunt Polly, make me bread. I wish it would let me actually use that screen once it takes me there. Thank you. What was my other characters? I think I'm my capped on cheese, or I was fairly close to being capped on cheese. One step away. Armbands. Rufio. Granny Rosa. Makes cheese and sells amulets. I don't think so. It never occurred to me to bring those characters with me into a dungeon. It seems like a huge waste, especially since they regenerate their points between dungeon runs. I think I had one more person I could buy stuff from. Chicken, maybe? Oh, what does Donnie do? I just recruited him. Take for a scoop. Abilities. Opens locked treasure chests. Open locked doors. That seems like that might have more value over time. Well, I guess the number of times I run into locked treasure chests that actually explode is fairly low. I think the extra money from mere need is still preferable. Oh, he sells treasure chest keys, but they're expensive. Probably not worth it. Oh, I put the chicken guy lives in a town now, so I gotta go back and talk to him if I want to use him. Shit. I don't really need it. It's fine. I'm gonna go get Marinade again and then we'll get going. Donnie is out of his element. Yo. Come on. Chicken guy. There's a chef that gives me premium chicken, but I gave him a house to live in, and now he's too much of a hassle to go visit for chicken, so I will just go without. I think I finished crafting the level 2 barrel guns, right? Check. Yes, I did. Okay, and I should have several of them. And I have my level 1 ones as backup, which is nice. Oh, sorry. I want to be food first. Vinicio. This is my favorite train station so far. The train is really close to the save point in the entrance. And warp here in the future if I need to go back to the train for some reason.
So this is the ocean.
Is this the meaning of ocean?
Wow! It feels so good!
Actually, the ocean feels really gross.
What do you think? Like it?
I didn't see the ocean until I met Andrea.
Oh, yes! Come and enjoy.
Sure, okay.
I didn't see the ocean until I met Andrea, so I think I was 23, maybe? 24 the first time?
It's coming from that cave.
I had swam in lakes and stuff before, and the first time I swam in the ocean, you get, like, covered in salt, and you feel all gross.
If I hadn't set out on this journey, then I never would have seen the sea. There are still so many things in the world that I haven't seen. Right then, I wanted to see them all. But more than even these wonderful things, I wanted to see your smiling face, Mother.
It may have just been because I didn't grow up with it.
Chapter 4. Goodbye, Shingala.
Okay. I grew up with gross, mucky lakes, where there was like zero risk of any underwater entities coming in contact with you. I guess the risk of anything in the ocean when you're on a public beach is fairly low, but jellyfish are real, and there were signs all over the place in Australia, like, look out for crocodiles, look out for the one Japanese jellyfish that will kill you. Goodbye, person I haven't heard of. And it goes back to the station. Nothing to build here yet. I think it's when we go to the dungeon. I don't remember the formula. The lakes are pretty gross too. I'm only okay with lakes because I grew up with access to a lake that we would go swim in. Portuguese manor. Kanji is what I was looking for. We can build out in the water. That's kind of cool. God, he walks so slow in it. Ew, nature. Ice cold.
You mustn't move it. I said not to move it.
Okay.
What do you
Well, the characters walk in here and they're like, okay.
I'm a bit tied up right now.
That's a Shigura, isn't it? He's still a child.
Ah, so you know about them, do you? I gave him a name. I call him Shingala.
Well, that's not good for him.
Up here lost about a
Given
month
the name
ago.
of the chapter.
Every year at about this time, the Shigura come from the south and live on these shores for a while. This one must have got split up from the tribe.
Nessie's super.
I'm Pao. I live in this cave. How's it going?
Just doing the voice actress doing a young boy's
I'm
voice.
Maximilian.
Like Tress
I'm
McNeil,
Monica.
or I forget the name of the actress who's like filling
Is
well.
Shingala injured?
Yeah. He slipped from the cliff yesterday
Bobby
and
Hill.
took me with him. I didn't think human medicine would be any good. Damn it. Sorry about this, but I need to ask a favor. Can you watch Shingala while I go and look for some medicine?
Dude, we just met.
Outside
You want
the
me to
cave,
watch
there's
your
a place
pet?
where some Shigura are gathered.
Do you want me to
I
like
think
drive
if
you
I
to the
go
airport
there,
and help
I
you
might
move
be able
now?
to find some medicine that'll help.
Watch him? What do we do?
Just watch him. I'll be as quick as I can. Thanks.
This game has mechanics
Hey,
for
wait a
watching.
minute.
Aw, man, he's just gone.
How come we get stuck
Only
here
I may do
babysitting some
that.
sea dragon? The nerve of that kid.
Oh, it's not that bad. This big guy's pretty cool. What?
What's the matter with him?
Dun 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 dun.
He's headed outside.
Oh, actually, dun 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 dun
Gotta
dun dun.
stop him.
It's no good. Wow!
What was your plan there, Max? Well, they fucked that up. Oh, goodbye, Shingala. Chapter 5.
He's heading toward the sea.
We've gotta follow him.
Okay.
Only seen one game that's actually done that, pulled it off. Mother 3 has the chapter that's like, 5 minutes long. We promised the weird rabbit boy that we would go in the dungeon. Quick, get the flimsy excuse to go do the dungeon. Alright, here we go. Attack and defeat all monsters using monster transformation. That is not happening. I think the plan is to still attempt to max out the ride pod as much as possible, and then we'll eventually move toward leveling up the characters. But if the ride pod's maxed out, the ride pod can be more efficient at leveling up the characters. Should be able to open chests from this, right? Don't have a key. Alright, well, I don't want that to break that particular weapon, so in the future I should swap that out for Max, or even Monica. Mind her weapons being broken. That's cool, these dungeons are a bit wider. More open space. Petite fish. Hey. Lots of room for golfing. Golf sequence is pretty funny. The coin has a chance to, what was it? It could break your weapons, repair your weapons, give you weapon XP. I guess I could try equipping my broken one real fast and see if it fixes it. Oh, never mind. Disregard. Not possible. Heal you and hurt you. Da-na-na-na. Syringe. Delightful. I think it's generally not worth the potential benefits in most cases. Ooh, multiple levels. That's cool, they're changing up the formula of the dungeons. Another one, no kidding. Crystals. Glass material. Okay. I think I'm enjoying this game more now that I have the OP ride pod. It's surprising, you'd think that like trivializing the dungeons would make them less fun, but the melee combat for Monica and Max is a little bit more frustrating. And maybe if I spent more resources leveling up their ranged weapons, it would be better, but... I enjoyed that boss fight earlier. I feel like I was gonna win it. I would not have been able to if it didn't have instant use, nearly unlimited healing items. I think I'm still slightly faster as Max. Oh, I skipped some enemies back there. Crap, I didn't even notice them. Go back for him soon. The extra advantage of the level 2 barrel guns is like I use less durability with them since they hit so much harder. I don't have to use quite as many shots. Interesting. It's that upside down difficulty curve thing. Does the crystal that tells you where all the enemies are also project all of the chest locations, or do you have to get close to be able to see them? I think you have to get close. It's like the durability system becomes progressively less relevant the stronger your weapons are. I guess it's probably fine. It's easy enough to stay on top of. You really don't have to think about it too hard. Quickly murder these two things down here. Rude. You did it! Record for shortest wipeout time. Man, I feel like I'm gonna get that medal a lot without explicitly trying for it. I got 2000 XP, which I think is quite a bit more for wiping out a stage than we were getting in the previous level, which is good. Previous level I want to say was like 800 maybe? Luna Stone. How did the Loch Ness Monster go? Whatever. It's fine. It solved all the puzzles, collected all the keys. Oh, I should go back to... Hold on. Should pick up the stuff in the future of Balance Valley since I never finished doing that. And I gotta repair the ride pod and then we can go back in the dungeon. Like the wheelchair access only line at Disney World. Alright, looking for chests. Pretty sure I can safely open all of them.
It looks like Starlight Temple has been completely restored. And it's all thanks to you two. Please, take this.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you, great sage.
Oh, very good!
Instant plot teleportation. Serpent Slicer! Let me look at my Monica weapon guide here. Is that further along than my current weapon? It is, actually. Guess I could get it to 5 and then craft onto my thing. Later on, I don't need to do it now. Ask NPCs to prove they aren't PCs. Right. Witch Parfait. Oh wait, can I not get down anymore? Kidding, right? Maybe I can get down over here. Yes, okay. Phew. Now, this zone is a lot more interesting in the future than the first one. It just has a Deku tree and a shop. Budget Deku tree. Looking for tiny chests. If you see one and I miss it, please let me know. It's really easy for me to miss this stuff. couple of times where I walked right past one on a bridge several times without seeing it. There's one. Oh yeah. I don't know, maybe it's just my brightness settings on this monitor. Like the chests were blending in directly with the bridge. Same color brown. Could also just be this area is too dark. Here's one. Emerald. Okay. There's probably more things I can take pictures of here too, but I'll worry about it later. Like, it's not just any parfait, it's a witch's parfait. Eden. Associate parfaits with Pee-wee's Playhouse. I missed that show. It's too bad Paul Rubens got entrapped. This was the last area, right? Sensed it when there was a hidden upgrade. I feel like Metroid does that, like subtle things in the level design that lead you to secrets. I think if no one had mentioned the tiny brown chests in this game, I never would have noticed any of them. There were several that were right in front of my face that I never interacted with. I think I even tried to take a picture of one without pressing the interact button near it. That should significantly improve the stats of Max and Monica, which is exciting. I'm sure there aren't any other interesting ones up here in like the middle. Cameron's stirring a little bit. Cat should be here to pick her up in the next 10 minutes or so, but if she starts crying, I'll just grab her and bring her on stream for a bit. That was one of the questions I got on my panel. What do you do if she wakes up and starts crying? Bring her on stream, and they're like, what if your viewers get upset about that? I'm like, if your viewers are mad at you for doing family stuff, you probably don't want them as viewers. They're gonna be jerks about other things too. The guy gave me a not bad face. Okay. Let's go to the train so that I can repair my shit. And then let's go explore the next dungeon. Plus 8 defense is an enormous deal in this game. I don't think I'm close to the ride pod's defense yet. I'll double check here. $32, 28. Okay, it's getting closer. 32 and change, right? Because like it stacks with the basic core defense boost that you get. Right, so we always want to go to Venecio Station from now on, because the entrance and save point are right in front of the train. Fix my shit. Also upgrade my shit, please. 3,500 for an upgrade. Okay. Yeah, I like smaller numbers in most cases. I guess the problem is if you don't dilute the pool well enough, then the penalty for missing a single point upgrade gets really severe. Whereas if you give somebody like 100 stat ups and they miss half of them, it's not as big of a deal as if there's only 10 stat ups in the whole game. Alright. Ocean's Roar Cave, let's do it. Attack and defeat all enemies using only the ride pod. Can do. The trouble I'm going to get to is a Monica only level, but I guess I can grind a little bit outside of it when we get to one.
I see. I remember now. You once read me a story about a turtle who traveled the 7 seas.
We are going to flashback, okay.
And so Tack the sea turtle made it back home safely. The end.
Mother, what is the sea like?
The sea? Well, it's so big that it goes on as far as you can see.
Terrifying,
and then the
basically.
sky and sea meet and become one.
I don't really get it.
There's a line where the sky meets the sea.
I want to see it myself.
When you get a bit older, we'll go there together.
Really? That's a promise, right? I'll see it for sure.
Her closed eyes smiled at something. Alright. Ride pod, let's do this. Murder everything, please. Oh, resilient statue. Stop guarding. Tons of fish. I think so, yeah. Probably a hint to the sort of enemies that are in it. These guys. Plenty of fish. This guy again.
Which shall it be?
The yellow box. That was a wrong choice. Tried to obtain the cheese, but you didn't have any room left. Story of my life. Ow. Rude. Oh, it was a golf club? Nuts. Alright, so we switch to Monica whenever this happens for now. Oh. Can an exploding trap kill you? Or does it bring you down to 1 hit point minimum? Wow. Why is the targeting sucking so bad all of a sudden? Weird. Monica's the designated trap disarmer. I don't need you to succeed, so take all the damage for me. I think I can't target it except when it's charging. With bats. Oh, is this a level 1? Doesn't say 2. Oh, I guess it is. It doesn't say it on that screen. I can get them in one pass. Cool. So sustainable. I guess it really is only effective because you have an NPC that repairs all your shit for free, but only ride pod related. Hey, give me that yellow box.
Which shall it be? Very good. Here you are.
Another golf club. Those are the plenty of fish. I recently unlocked a machine gun for max, right? The problem with those is that they blow through durability really fast. One second. Charge my... Pausing doesn't count against my time. Not that I need those upgrades for anything. But... Even more fish things. Prize goes to Professor Wernstrom for his fish thingy. Easy to hit. Is it a trade-off? Okay. No, this game has lasers eventually. Interesting. There's the map. A little bit late, but, you know, take what we can get when we get it. Are there sea bats? I feel like the ocean is not where bats typically congregate. The chest was empty. I wasn't even trying to hear that. Sweet. This theme. Hey, this is the first area where this theme is felt appropriate as a level clear music. It's definitely had that kind of like Costa del Sol, ocean town clear theme. Alright, so remember, we gotta pop out, repair our shit, upgrade the ride pod, and we can go to the next level. Oh, this is the golf game music too? Or I guess you can only play golf after you cleared the stage, right? I wonder how the golf game got added. It seems like it's a really significant part of the game. Is there somebody on the staff that really liked golf? Japanese like golf. I've seen golf as an optional minigame in many other games. Baseball, yes. Or some variant. Save up for the super core. Ocean's War. Tank and boss. I think blue seal means Max can't go. No, that means Monica can't go, right? Red seal is the bad one. I heard that Golf Story game is really good for the Switch. Oh no, I can't switch to Monica. Whatever will I do? Definitely need to buffer if there's gonna be a Peter Monica only boss fight again. Beach rat. Beach rat. Doesn't sound as good without the rolled R on street. Telling Andrea that she has to catch me a Mr. Mime when she's at Germany for her conference in October. But she might be off the hook because this new event makes it so you can catch regionals, or hatch them from friend eggs. The game has opened up a lot since they added trading finally. I'm pretty excited about it. I was really worried that trading was going to kind of break the game because you have a lot of people botting and spoofing and you could just go around and freely trade the best Pokemon in the game, but they've actually come up with some really clever ways to control that. You have to be physically next to somebody to trade, which I think is a good decision. And then there's a significant cost to trading in Stardust, depending on how good of friends you are. You like have to interact with each other for 90 consecutive days to be able to trade at a reasonable level on the rarer Pokemon like legendaries. Adding a consumable resource to it, I think it's incredibly clever. Even if you can farm that stuff up, there's still an upper limit on it. Even if you're not into Pokemon Go, it's an interesting problem to try to solve just from a game design logistics perspective. How do we let people do this thing without it breaking the game? Trading, I think, definitely breaks the traditional Game Boy Pokemon games. I guess they have the badge system is supposed to control for it, but it doesn't really help all that much, I feel like. I guess those games are easily broken by other means, so it's not the main problem. I'd hazard that trading feels better in Pokemon Go right now than it has in any of the actual Pokemon games. Now they just gotta change the combat so that it's a turn-based JRPG and it'll be perfect. Rat has an axe on its tail. Or maybe that's supposed to be a anchor, that would make more sense. Alright, so should be able to get the new core upgrade. Don't know if I can get through that special side door to be able to wipe out the level. Go check real quick. The Nintendo Direct starts in a little less than an hour, doesn't it? You guys can let me know what's going on in there. I don't think they've announced what they're talking about, have they? What item would this be? It's not the Luna Stone. Ah. That makes sense. Didn't mean to do that, but okay. It's fine. Oops. Record for shortest wipeout time. You know it. The exit's right here. Perfect. Alright, I'll try to keep an eye out. It sounds like there's a sub door that I can open, which I think was 2 levels ago, but there wasn't one in the previous dungeon, if I recall correctly. Go. There you go. Yes, please. Alright. Repair, upgrade, next stage. Finish without healing. I think I got almost all the medals for that last stage. That's cool. Medals, I think, only give you cosmetic upgrades, right? Nothing that's important. Do shoes actually do anything? I thought I was wearing shoes that like slightly increased my movement speed, but maybe I was making that up. Move. Benicio Station, yes. Repair my shit, upgrade my shit. Back in we go. You gotta make it into a muscle memory thing, I think. Hypercore, 5,000. I noticed there's a day counter on the menu screen. Does that ever matter? Or is it just kind of dragging it for fun? Does the game end after the day counter gets too high? Probably. Attack and defeat all enemies using only Monica's magic. That's not happening. Not at all. I gotta tap out the cores eventually. I forgot how far it goes. Aqua elements. Be nice to play some Planescape. Planescape's it's a CRPG, isn't it? In the vein of like Baldur's Gate. The last level I didn't even have to swap out my cannons, so I was doing enough damage. Don't guard. Oh, it's attacking them in the front, I guess? Maybe they do guard for part of it. It's hard to tell. I need 5,000 XP. I'm gonna try really hard to save up. I wonder how many games have been made that include an incredibly OP way to play through it, like the ride pod with ranged weapons. They're very easily missable by a player that, you know, just doesn't happen to stumble upon the strategy. People have abandoned games. I guess you get that with Dark Souls. Like, I've heard that people that play Dark Souls with a shield don't like the game, and then they play Bloodborne, which doesn't let you have a shield, and they suddenly enjoy the formula much better. And there's also people that play with a shield and enjoy it just fine. I guess that relates to the whole conversation about the correct way to play Uncharted. Not being one that's in any way conveyed in the actual gameplay. Hey, Nodovan, are you hanging out? Happen to be around by any chance? Oh man, defense is really high in this thing, nice. Only took 3 damage from that. Yo, so I saw your group chat with Chaos. If you were thinking of taking the multiplayer day, what game would you do? Would it be WoW? So I can go ahead and push that with Chaos if he wants to do the 24-hour stream instead. Blizzard would be cool. I should give Heroes of a Storm another try. I tried it when it was like beta. I think I got an invite to it and then come back to it. Well, I'd commit to at least 4 days of it. I guess if you do WoW, there's a pretty good chance I would do more than 4 days. 4 weeks. I know Hey Pax and Leewit, who we went to PAX with, are playing WoW right now. New expansion. Diablo 3 is basically dead, isn't it? Fortunately. I think the last few seasons have had no patch associated with them. I think, wow, make me want to play 14. I don't know. I'm thinking there's some things that I'll like. I think 14 is a better game mechanically. But, it has so much crust that you have to get through. Double goblins? Oh, okay, so they're adding, like, new little features to make it different. Diablo 4 would be nice. It's true. Diablo also generates no revenue for Blizzard now that they got rid of the auction house. I still think that's one of the most, like... That decision has some of the most integrity of any decision in gaming. Tell that to Crusader Kings 2. Diablo 3 on launch was a very bad game. Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls is a very good game. Both products are still very different from Diablo 2, but... Yeah, Diablo 3 got successful after Reaper of Souls came out. Presuming that they don't hire somebody that hates Diablo. Basically, Jay Wilson was the guy, the director for Final Fantasy XIV in that respect. The original director, the guy that hated Final Fantasy. The people who want D2 moved on to Path of Exile, but Diablo 3 is its own quality product. It's very different from Path. It's like the streamlined ARPG. I would say Diablo 3 is Hearthstone to Path of Exile's Magic the Gathering. If you want crazy complexity and depth and the inability to play the game without following a wiki, then Path of Exile is for you. If you want a game that you can just turn on and play, then Diablo 3 is for you. You got someone who hated Star Trek to make Star Trek movies, right? 3 years later and you're playing a different game? Really? Do you have an example, Aki? Diablo 3 today is an entirely different game than launch Diablo 3. It's from patch cycles and iteration. I actually kind of enjoy Reaper of Souls as a experiment in design space exploration and like multiplayer balancing. Multiplayer PvE balancing where balance technically shouldn't matter. The Greater Rift system is an incredibly clever balancing sieve. Stellaris 2.0 removed 2 to 3 ways your starships can move around the universe and completely change how you claim planets in space. Wow. Oh wow. Interesting. I think in a lot of respects that's kind of cool. Depends. The whole I'm a fixed wolves era of living products is very interesting indeed. You guys hear the woodpecker? Not quite loud enough to get picked up by the mic. I can hear it though. Here, I'll turn off my noise thing real quick and I'll mute audio. Yeah. Turn it back off. Just turned off my noise gate and noise removal. I know, right? That's what's actually happening in the background all the time. It's consuming a significant amount of my CPU. Could do a behind the scenes video on how Reaper works. It's kind of cool. Basically, I record what it sounds like when it's dead air in here, and then I stop it, and I tell it, whenever you hear those frequencies, subtract them from my live audio. It's part of why I can't sing along with music in games, because it adds enough of a delay that I'll be out of pace. I can't do it very well real time. Oh no, Aki. Yeah, this... I had never had a woodpecker knocking on the house before. I had seen them in the wild, but the first time it happened, I was freaking out because it really sounded like there was a person knocking really, really hard on the door. I was like, what is that sound? What's happening? I got outside and I saw it. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Check. Okay. Yeah, phantom stuff drives me nuts all the time. Cammy covered her face with her blanket. I was just making sure she was still breathing. She's fine. Oh, I went to the wrong place. Clear it using only Max's gun. That's not happening yet either. Different movement system for every race. System is tied to a specific racial tech tree, not a universal one. It's a cool concept. Hey, Caustic, how you doing? I'm doing alright, thank you for the hosts. How have you been? Scary Auntie Medusa. People streaming chasing the storm? Yikes. I know, right? I had some early... Like, I wasn't really grokking this game for the first 15 hours or so. I expected the universe to be taking itself more seriously. And things that were playing against my expectations were kind of souring me on it, but now that I have seen the matrix of how the game is supposed to work, now I'm enjoying it better. People bringing their children? Oh no. I'm trying to think of other games where I've had that experience. I think Nier Automata, definitely. If I went back and played that game again, I'd probably enjoy the holistic experience much better. Game doesn't really come together until you finish it, and up until then it's frustrating. You should, it's good. Give it time, let it breathe. It exists as an entire work, not a collection of scenes, so you can push through and finish it, it's worth it. I did feel like it probably was intended to be larger than it ended up being. It's kind of that typical, the director has a vision for what the product's going to look like, and then reality sets in. But that's true for a lot of modern games. It is... Once you choose to go beyond a certain length for a game, I think that you're going to be sacrificing a lot in the finished product. Yeah. You keep adding new requirements and building on more and more systems. Microsoft Office is an example of feature creep. What percentage of Microsoft Office features are used by what percentage of the user base? Versus how much time was necessary to include them. We call feature creep creature feep at Chase. It's true. I think they've done a good job of obfuscating the more complicated features so that, you know, normal users aren't stressed out by option paralysis. The ribbon conceals a lot of those things. Oh yeah, it was a funny place. Yeah, if you take a word processing class in 2005, the most features you will ever encounter. Like, what? No one ever does this. I had to take some basic computing class. I never went to college, but I did go to a local community college while I was working at Chase to get a quick certificate in the project management work I was doing. And the courses were all really stupid, like, here's how to do rotated flipped alley-oops, double nose grind word art. It's like, great, thanks. Hey, thanks for the host overboard. If you guys are around, what's up? That was an auto host. If you were idling on Dag and Brawley's channel, hi, I'm Marstead, trying to beat every awesome game ever made. I believe there's so many awesome games out there, it's impossible for any one person to beat them all. But that means we'll never run out. You can see a list of the games we've played so far at games.marstead.com, and you can even vote for the next awesome game we're going to play. Dark Cloud 2 is a vote winner, which is why we're playing through it right now. If you're just hanging out or lurking, welcome, it's good to have you. Oh, is Shadow of the Tomb Raider already out? I really liked Tomb Raider 2013, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider was decently good. It had some issues, just they kind of painted themselves into a corner with the first game. They couldn't really follow up on it. Yeah, I didn't think it was. That and Marvel's Spider-Man. This year seems to be a really awesome year for gaming. Maybe that's just been true for the last decade. There was a short window there where it felt like there was a lot of mass-produced crap coming out. Your Ubisoft franchise installments. Got an early copy. That's cool. Yeah. Basically, ever since indies became a thing, I think that's true. Ever since we were really consistently getting strong indie titles, I think that helps to smooth over gaps from the AAA companies. You got an industry boycott that overlapped with a lot of the trash years. How are we doing? Did we get to 5,000? Not quite. Next level, we'll get it. Yeah, been there, you could go. GameCube and the N64 are two. There's only like, what, maybe 7 really solid games for the N64? And most of them are first-party titles. I'm pretty pumped for that Switch Crystal Chronicles remaster, especially since it has online multiplayer. I'm totally gonna want to play that on stream. I never actually beat the game. It was one of many, many co-op games that I started with some group of people, and then we broke up and I found another group of people and started it and got to about the same point every time. Switch has a game drop? I thought Switch had a really expansive, impressive library. Are you talking about first-party titles? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's interesting. I don't think I would consider Darkest Dungeon to be a tactical RPG. It's called a traditional turn-based. But right, yeah, you get Mario plus Rabbids. XCOM is really, really solid. I think XCOM is still my favorite tactical RPG that I've played. It solves a lot of my issues with the genre. Maybe if you combine that with Valkyria Chronicles, be all the way there. I think it's correct to try to make the genre difficult. I feel like there's almost no worse genre to be too easy than tactical RPGs when you're just kind of going through the motions. Pro Jared delicious. Cool. Gotcha. Pump for Smash. Got to play it at PAX, it was good. Ridley's busted though. Ridley's busted and Inkling isn't fun to play against. Oh, that's cool, sir. I like all this story. It's a genre that I think needs iteration. It needs some of those ideas. You can't like easily just make a serviceable tactical RPG, I feel like you can with like an FPS. Like, FPSs have the problem where it's like so easy to make a serviceable entry that you start asking the question, okay, what's your cool gimmick? What makes this different from every other FPS? Same with JRPGs. It's so easy to make a serviceable JRPG. You really gotta try hard to stand out. Yeah. I try not to read too much into trademark submissions. I've had my heart broken too many times. I think Square filed a Chrono Break trademark like 15 years ago, and I got all stoked for it. They even renewed it a couple times. Saturn Space Shooter, Candy Crush like game to a Metroidvania to a tactile RPG. That's cool. Shenmue fan, don't listen to rumors. Don't even listen to official reports, Yukupo. How was the remaster, by the way? Did you play through it? I'm still trying to get Lisa and Matt to play it. I think they're coming out for Christmas. Maybe I can force them to play a little bit. Hook them. Excuse me. A black car? Oh, it has bugs? Really? That weren't in the original game? It's surprising. Shenmue 2 is English voice acting in the remaster, isn't it? I hope so. I guess I never even thought about that. It's interesting, it's a game where it's like crucial to the experience to have the shitty English voice acting. To the point where, like, I hope that they get regular people living in Japan who suck at voice acting to do Shenmue 3. It wouldn't feel right if they suddenly got a bunch of really talented people. The original Shenmue is a technical marvel. It's the highest budget of any game adjusted for inflation in history. Excuse me. What can you tell me about the Four Voodoo? It actually makes me wonder if the creator and company realize how cheesy Shenmue is in the US. So I don't think it has that, I don't think in Japan they really have that opinion of it. You'd almost have to make two different products. Like, it clearly takes itself pretty seriously, which is fine. Oh, you can, in the remaster, you can swap the voice acting? That's cool. I'm glad they added that. That bodes well for Shenmue 3, I think. Gotcha. These sand rollers use up so much of my resources to kill. No, I'm good. That is what they did in Shenmue, right? The director was a control freak, and he didn't want to hire professional talent from outside of the country because he wanted to, like, personally supervise it. So he just found random people that lived in Japan who happened to speak English. Oh, you should 100% play it. It's one of the best games ever. That's not a technical failure. That's just part of the game. They set out to make a Virtua Fighter RPG, and then the creator, like, pulled a total bait and switch on Sega and made this, like, weird 1980s slice of life Japan game. You go around and respect your elders and try to get home before late, and buy capsule toys and feed a cat. The first game has like 7 fights in the whole game. It has this deep Virtua Fighter-esque, you know, kung fu move learning system, karate move learning system, I guess. It's barely relevant. Really, Aki? I didn't know that. I've heard that, like, usually the international version release of Square games, they tend to default to English voice acting with Japanese subtitles. I think I first heard about that with the Final Fantasy X international version. I thought they were just like, oh, we think that this setting is more interesting with English voice actors, like it's more exotic or something. But maybe that was mostly just Final Fantasy X and Kingdom Hearts. fix my shit. Upgrade my shit. Thank you. 6,500. We're getting there. Well, it's like the game comes out in Japan, and it gets localized in English, and then they release a new version that includes some of the changes they added for the English localization. Did they ever get an international release of FF7 that included Ruby and Emerald weapon? She was not in the Japanese version of the game, right? Either of them. Surprised me if they're just ashamed of the initial attempts of their tech for voice acting in the PS2. Maybe. I thought the voice acting in 10 was actually fairly good. It was one of the first games I played with the voice acting that wasn't just garbage. I remember being really mad when I read in like Game Informer or something that Final Fantasy X was going to have voice acting. I took it really seriously. They're like, I imagine their voices in my head, and now I'm not going to be able to use my imagination anymore. Okay. Now I'll go through a complaining nerd phase at some point. The Harry Potter movies are not note for note what happens in the Harry Potter books. And that's unacceptable in every way. They had more time to get used to their tools. Let's see. Like for like lip syncing, that sort of thing? Vito by my side. Yeah, I remember that. But there's parts where the pacing is awkward because they're doing the lip flap syncing. Or like the voice direction is set up to try to match the way the scene was animated. They're not that bad. Not even given that... Okay. If you're gonna adapt the books shot for shot, first of all, it's gotta be a TV show. It can't be a movie. There's no way to capture all of that in 9 hours of film. 2, if you're gonna adapt them shot for shot, you should just read the book at that point. I mean, maybe it's cool to see this stuff on screen, but... I think the challenge of adaptation is very interesting. Like, for the most part, before it ran out of published material to work with, Game of Thrones did a very good job of that by saying, we excel at writing dialogue between two characters that have very established character patterns. You know, it kind of almost writes itself, so we'll include a bunch of scenes from POVs that aren't included in the books, and that will be great. That will be the drama that moves the story forward. Do you want that, but recognize them weird? Yeah, Bombadil should not have been in there. That was a good choice to exclude it. Really, my biggest complaint with the Lord of the Rings movies is probably the fact that Return of the King doesn't just fucking end. When Andrea first saw it, apparently she had to pee really bad. And she kept thinking every time it would fade to white or fade to black that that was the ending. And it's like, oh my god. Probably should have ended at You Bow to No One. I know that you're right, but his exclusion still hurt. Fellowship is a really good adaptation. Fellowship is so slow. Like the book. I remember being mad at it when I saw it in high school. I had just read Fellowship, so I was extra cognizant of the changes, but like nothing happens in that book for the first half of it, and then it gets really exciting. All in one sitting, extended. Yeah, I've done that before. It was something that the group of us started to regret towards the start of Return of the King. There's some good stuff in the extended editions. 8 false endings in Return of the King? Wow, that sounds right. I would very much like to see them come back to The Lord of the Rings and to Harry Potter with a TV series, with a budget and approach of something like Game of Thrones. I feel like it would just be a cash cow. I know Amazon already has a Middle-earth series scheduled that's just supposed to be like fan fiction that takes place in the universe, which is cool. I'm down for that. It's a cool universe. No, I don't think it is. It's just Middle-earth setting. They're not like re-adapting anything. Right, because Chris Tolkien's kind of a dick. So we're not even gonna get like any Fëanor type stuff. Hey, Flarechew, what's grooving? Well, because of the animated films, not even? Or because of The Hobbit? I'm really sad that Guillermo del Toro didn't get to make his Hobbit movies. It sounded really cool, his ideas for it. Did you watch the documentary we posted about that in Cool Stuff and Discord, Nodovan, from Lindsay Ellis? The autopsy of The Hobbit? She did one in the vein of like the prequel autopsy from Red Letter Media. It's really, really good. The katana arms. Public domain, great. It's a studio meddling mess. It's not even really Peter Jackson's fault. The Lindsay Ellis documentary kind of gave me a lot of perspective about it. It's really unfortunate that it ended up playing out the way it did. It had no pre-production when The Lord of the Rings had like years and years of pre-production. Really sad. I remember thinking of Chris Tolkien as a jerk when I was a teenager in high school. I was super into Lord of the Rings. You should watch this video, Nodovan. Let me find the link to it real quick. It was cathartic for me to watch. It helped me put to bed my angst about the Hobbit movies. Let's see. Loves the Hobbits. Yes, please. Highly recommended. Barrel, crescent-shaped light weapon for samurai arms. Yeah, I'm kind of at a point where I'm autopilot now, which is fun. So, saying earlier, it took me a while to see the Matrix of Dark Cloud 2. Now that I have, I'm enjoying it more. Chris Tolkien's like Walter from The Big Lebowski. He's not wrong, he's just a jerk. How old is he? He's gotta be getting up there now, right? Poor Evangeline Lilly plays the new character Toriel, which is, I'm fine with that. I get it. The Hobbit is a sausage fest. It seems like a innocent include. But, like, she joined the project on the sole condition that she not be included in a love triangle, and then they included her in a love triangle. Ugh. It's really bad. Cedric sells the samurai arms. Is like a gear or is it a weapon? Oh, the book's really good. The problem is the book is fundamentally very different from Lord of the Rings. Like, Tolkien did not write it in that order. He wrote a children's story for his kids and then he retrofitted it later into the Lord of the Rings. And what the Hobbit movie tries to do is it tries to take the super serious tone of the Lord of the Rings and keep that running through the whole film, and it just doesn't fit the original story. The original story kind of has this like whimsy, childlike adventure. It's got the peril thing going on, but it doesn't have the like epic Bible Silmarillion stuff that's in the Lord of the Rings. So it feels really out of place when it just shows up. I think I've said this before, but nothing bothers me more than something that has a lot of potential being done mediocrely. Word. Being done in a mediocre way. Like, I would much prefer someone... So do I actually have full gun repair powder? I'd much rather have someone make something that's just completely terrible than make something that's barely serviceable. Especially when it could have been done in a much better way, and now that it's been done poorly, you know, we're not going to get another chance to do it right for decades. Well, the Menace of the Ring was actually added in rewrites. The first draft of Riddles in the Dark, Gollum wasn't supposed to be Smeagol. Like, it was a much sillier, cutesy sequence. I believe he just gave the ring to Bilbo. Frog and Toad books. Yeah. It's really good. It's got some cool world building. It has a bunch of like crazy little incidental lore. It's like, and then there were rock giants. And you're like, what? Rock giants? All right. I'm not going to mention that ever again. Yeah. Gollum being Smeagol is a retcon. Like I said, I'm super bummed that Guillermo del Toro didn't get to make the movie that he wanted to make. And I'm also sad that we're never going to really know what happened with all of that, because Hollywood has so much shit going on with contracts and NDAs that you're not allowed to disparage the work or you'll get blacklisted from the industry, so people can only really speculate on what actually happened behind the scenes. Exploding trap. Should have switched to Monica. See you, Manok. It sounds like Peter Jackson kind of just did the best he possibly could in a really shitty situation. And it doesn't even seem like he got to make the movie that he wanted to make. Like, it sounds like the Toriel love triangle thing was a executive meddling decision. At least that, what the subtext appears to suggest that. He obviously hasn't come out and said that directly because of NDAs and other problems. But if you like watch videos of him making The Lord of the Rings, he just kind of looks delighted the whole time and having fun solving this problem, this pet project that he always wanted to make. And he just looks miserable through all of The Hobbit. Yeah. Red Letter Media has a cool way of describing problems like that, where they're like, when you saw this movie, you may have not have noticed these problems that we're about to point out, but your brain did. Your brain picked up on something not being quite right. Like, they recently did their Last Jedi review, and the point that they made was really clever. I hadn't thought of it, but they argued that The Last Jedi is shot like a comedy of errors, like National Lampoon's Vacation. Where it's like, oh, how did they get into this mess? Well, they made this mistake. Well, how'd they get to the point of making that mistake? Well, they made this mistake. Ooh, Luigi's Mansion 3. I need to play any Luigi's Mansion game. I've never played any of them. One of my great sins as a gamer. And Bjorn was like one of my favorite parts of the whole book. None of him. Ugh. That was bad. Very, very, very bad. Made me feel really bad for Christopher Lee, too, because he was excited to explore Saruman as a good guy. Christopher Lee is like the ultimate Tolkien nerd. He probably knew more about those books than anybody on this set. You think, was Harry Potter the first one that broke up the last movie into two? Then Hunger Games did it. Yeah, right. He was a pretty metal guy. Rip. Okay, next mission I can upgrade the core another step. I think you're right, Harry Potter did it first, and everyone was like, ooh. Money, 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 money. It creates problems for all those works. Like, Hunger Games 2 is one of the best, like, young adult movies ever. It's just really, really good. It's got this, like, what'd you call it? Empire Strikes Back feel to it. But then the third one is really weak because it's like all of the setup and none of the payoff. Kind of feels like the Feast for Crows, Dance with Dragons split. Yeah, right? Symphonic metal. Dude was pretty rad.
Oh, what's all this?
It's one of those murals called Moon of Destruction. They discovered a whole bunch of them in my era, too.
One of those murals?
Moon of Destruction.
They show an imaginary world where the moon comes crashing down, destroying mankind. Nobody's been able to figure out why there are so many of these things, or what purpose they served.
Maybe it wasn't imaginary. It's a pretty sweet lore for just a goofy game with duck doctors and...
What's the point of so many murals, all exactly the same?
Maybe the ancient people were trying to tell us something with these murals.
You think? No, they just...
Oh, I don't know. It's just a
This will
hunch.
surely have no
Something
plot
about them
significance.
makes me think so, I guess.
Well, that's that.
Whoa!
Shingala?
Cool robot thing.
Shingala, stop!
It's being controlled. Hold on one sec. I'll look at my photo invention. This feels like something I need to take a picture of.
Look, there's something on his head.
What is it?
I think
bought into the Majora's Mask hype.
Pow! Shingala, what's going on? Shingala, stop it!
It's no use. Look at Shingala's head. There's some kind of device there. I think he's being controlled by it.
Huh? Look out!
Ah! He's not gonna listen to us.
Shingala! Run for it, pal!
And then the moon crashing into the Earth problem was never mentioned again, even though it's in the fucking logo for the game.
What's happened to Shingala? He doesn't recognize me.
To be fair to the game, it's really hard. If you're a DM and you're describing a room, like, how do you describe something that's supposed to be nondescript, but actually secretly important without giving attention to it?
It's not that. You saw the strange device on his head? I'm sure that it's controlling him.
We've got to think of some way to get it off of him.
Maybe the people at Luna Lab will know a way.
Yes, exactly. They might be able to help us. Let's go.
Alright, so sounds like I gotta build shit to progress. The dialogue assumes that I've already been building Luna Lab all this time. And not just digging around. Alright, let's see. What do they want me to do here? Okay, yeah, got it. Jeez. Alright. 8 blocks of pure parts placed. Someone resides in Vinicio. 30 culture points obtained. Pure parts. It's not possible for me to not have access to them yet, right? Maybe they mean the iron stand? Good job, past me, buying a bunch of rolling logs. That's kind of cool, though. It's a different approach to the level design. Come on. I want it to be flush. No, I need it to be flush. Can I lock it into place as flush? There we go. I cannot lock it into place, so... I use the D-pad, that would be great. Oh, I can use the D-pad, thank God. Thinking I'm setting on that for your beach sprite. Ooh, that sounds awesome, Yukubo. Yeah, my only advice would be careful with using too many colors, because I'll be limited in the number of beads I can get of different colors. But other than that, that sounds awesome. Nice. Serp, Kaimom, Raker, and Chaos all have, oops. All have beat sprites to pick out. Okay, cool. And once I get everyone's submissions, I'll go through and, buy all the beads that I'll need. Every time you Google a question, you find a topic where you were the one that answered it a decade ago. That's awesome. Oh, does that not count? It's 8 blocks of pure parts? I didn't place the last one. Okay. Okay. Hey, that counted. Nice. No culture points yet. Lab foundation. Red Iron House. Let's see. Paint red. I don't know, paint? Oh god. I think there's an NPC that sells it. I really wish that the merchant was here. I didn't have to go back to the train station. I don't know if I'd say it's my least favorite thing about the game, but it's definitely a little convenience thing that would be really nice. I think Death Johnson even pointed out that, like, the NPC that sells you the stuff you need is actually in the device you're using to build everything. Okay, we're doing okay on money. He does not sell paint. The painter guy does, maybe? Alright, let me Google it real fast. FAQs. Shop. Paint. Red paint. Harn. Okay. He's... I think I put him in Balance Valley. Whoa, Katamari Damas? That's awesome. I already played Katamari on stream, but I might make an exception for the Switch version. The game is short enough. I do love it so, too. Arn resides with me. I don't know where I put him, though. Shit. I wonder what a remaster entails in that case, right? Like... I think I had a silly colored roof that made... The game kind of has bad graphics on purpose. Multiplayer versus mode. Too expensive for me to buy more than that. Not with more NOS. Escape dungeons at any time. Game is one of the best soundtracks of all time. Check it out, funk it up, me and the dumb, already sweet to go, yeah. Does that count, I wonder? See if I have any instructions to put particular people in here. Claire lives in the Red Iron House. I haven't recruited Claire yet. Shit, how do I get her? Suddenly worried that I'm gonna need to get access to everyone. Character. Outside the cafe, take a picture of... Oh. Huh. Okay, let me go do that. So I gotta warp to where we fought the Rainbow Butterfly boss. That was here. Yeah, I heard that's why it got delisted, right? Just people aren't buying a imperfect version of it. I hate game delisting. It stresses me out. Fresh stern. Is it this thing maybe? Okay. Stem. Like chemming is. Oh, it's contractual. Gotcha. Was Last Remnant good? There were a couple of weird Square games that came out around that time that I don't know very much about. There's another one, it's like the gun game. Resonance of Fates, maybe? Bought it, never actually played it. Been there. Infinite Undiscovery, yep, that was the other one. I think that was like the trilogy of weird Square games that I knew existed but never bought because I had JRPG fatigue at the time. Had that same love it or hate it vibe. Interesting. So there should be a lady outside a cafe somewhere. I don't actually know where the cafe is, so... Wireless NES control. NES? I don't know. Super Nintendo, maybe. I feel like they're picking the wrong, picking the wrong console to focus on to begin with. And the NES has a couple good games, but they just mostly haven't aged too well. Yeah, I don't know. Right. Mario 3. What other NES games have aged very well? I guess Castlevania 3 maybe, but even that has problems. I'm still looking for the cafe. It's gotta be a cultural thing. Maybe Japan has a different attitude about retro games. I love retro games, and I really wanted there to be an even more robust virtual console for the Switch, but I don't know, lady. Do I look like a mind reader, ma'am? I don't know. Maybe it's back here somewhere. There's a church. I'll Google it here in a second. I think we knew about Diablo 3, right? GBA would be good. SNES and GBA. GameCube especially, but it sounds like we're getting some direct GameCube remasters rather than a virtual console release. I would really like to play Sunshine again. Where is the cafe in Palm Springs? Cafe? If you teleport to Palm Springs and head towards the sheriff's office, you can take a left or a right. Take you by the mayor's office. Cafe's on the right side of the plaza in one of those locations. Oh, I can't warp there if I'm already here. It's funny. $20.48, right? I'd be fine with a Mario Sunshine remaster. Yeah, I thought this was it right here. Guess the coffee shop is not the same thing as a cafe. It's a thick, perfectly cylindrical cup. Okay. Claire. I need her to progress the story here, unfortunately. Maybe this way? Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's not possible to get all your Pokemon from gen to gen if you play the right versions, right? Those was her before. Just the mayor's house. About to Google it here in a second. Dark Cloud 2 can't find Claire. Cannot find Claire anywhere. Exit train station opposite the bar. That is the coffee place. Her house is the house that is past Max's house. If she's inside, she'll be in the room upstairs. Okay. Give that a try. Or in the event Pokemon. You can still get the event Pokemon from the GTS, right? Although the GTS is super scummy. I feel like they still haven't managed to get rid of hacked Pokemon from that, unfortunately. I really hope whatever the next installment is a streamlined, like, reboot of the series. It really needs one badly. That should be the example of feature creep Pokemon. They toned it down a little bit in Sun and Moon. X and Y were really, really bad about it. You had to have it in the Pokedex before you could search for it in the GTS. Oh. Interesting. But you could have it in the Pokedex if you saw it, though, right? Past Max's house. Must be this one. I guess that's not too hard to create that situation. Yo! Claire joined the party. Great. Figure out what her deal is before. Well, I guess I can put her in the house and then figure out what her deal is. To walk a lot farther to get to this in this one. So if you trade the convenience of the train station for convenience here. Flare. Like the dark? Give me some light? You serious? Like lights outside, I guess they're talking about? Shop boat. Lamps, maybe, I guess. I don't think it's meant to go in a house like this, unfortunately. Doesn't look like it anyway. Attached to a wall. Torches, maybe? Okay, you happy now? Cool. Excellent. Perfect. Figure out what her deal is. Buy gift capsules. Put an item inside as a present now. View abilities. Adds 2 to enemy's rage chip? Huh, okay. Ooh, Civ 6 for Switch? Is 6 good? I only played 5. I played it shortly before 6 came out. Boat near a red iron house. Okay, so I gotta get more rolling logs. Put chimneys on this thing. Multiple chimneys. What does that do for my culture? 13 culture points. How many chimneys can I put on there is the question. Give us another one! Give us another one! Four chimneys. Alright. It's only 25 culture points? Boo! Alright, hold on. It's gonna do the well. $27. She's a smoking problem. Right. Did I fit a weather vane on there still? I used up all my space with chimneys. Shit. Bench. One more bench, maybe. And more rolling logs first. The pot doesn't count for culture. Bullshit. How dare they? First of all, oh shit, I did not mean to do that. And there's not an undo button for cleanup. Crap. First of all, how dare you? Second of all, what gives you the right? Expansion for 6 coming soon, you think? Interesting. Wait, is laundry supposed to connect to something? Maybe it's the side of the house thing as well. Okay, I guess I have to go buy some more rolling logs. Let me do that now. Everybody needs 4 chimneys, right? It makes perfect sense. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition? For Switch? Okay. Hey, PAX really likes Final Fantasy 15. He was really selling it to me when we were at PAX. It sounds like you have to do a lot of work for the game to be enjoyable. Oh, didn't that already exist? Isn't that already like a mobile game? I remember seeing that at PAX a couple years ago. It's like a mobile game that summarizes the story of FF15. It was really weird. I can find a shortcut to trigger the speed thing. Oh man, a mobile port on the Switch. Oh boy. Soundtrack's good. It's like a demake, actually. Shop boat. What are we doing on analysis here? Luna Lab, Lab 1, Blue Iron House. Donian. We don't know what to do with Lab 3 or 4 or any of the other ones, so we can at least do those to start with and see what happens. 7, 9, 10, and 10-2, but not 8? Like the original 7? Not the remake that's coming out? Seven, 9, 10, 12, and 10-2. That's fucking bizarre. Well, I hope that means we're gonna get 1 through 6 since those were all on Nintendo consoles. Good for Square, I guess. Getting money, getting paid, and all that. Animal Crossing? Oh, they knew. Nice. Perfect for the Switch, too. Very nice. Now they just gotta announce Waluigi and Smash and Mother 3.
Hey, a building!
Let's go check it out.
Future's kind of all over the place in this game, huh?
Looks like there's another lab
Sometimes there's just a cool Deku tree. Sometimes there's a bunch of mages that has a local Chinese restaurant that cures all disease.
Let's go inside. Maybe someone's home.
These little chests. Isabelle and Smash. Nice. Wait, instead of a new Animal Crossing? Or in addition to? Oh. Oh, Sakurai. Such a monster. Tom Nook? I guess they could have a separate villager character. Or maybe there's just expansions to the villager character. Just be Echo Fighters. You expect them to all have the same abilities. We got one more tiny chest, I assume. Well, if there is one, it would be over here. Oh, okay, let's try again later. I must have to go on the other one first. Also new Animal Crossing. Okay. Yeah, we've been talking about it. Upstairs. No, it's not spectrumized potato cake. It is not the same as the usual potato thing? Is he at max defense or something? He can't be. Brought me the scoops. So did they explain how the characters work in Smash? Is it just like an Echo Fighter for Villager? Or just extra costumes for Villager even? Cool cheers from Men in Black.
Are you a lab researcher? Indeed. I'm Osmond, and I'm one of the top researchers at Lunar Lab. Can I help you? Really? That's great. We need your help. Could you lend us a hand? My hand? Oh, here you are. So this sea dragon is under mind control. Well, in that case, we'll have to short out the device that's attached to its head.
This totally isn't the POW guy.
Shorting it out would work, but how? Here's an old invention that I think may help. An electric worm!
Okay.
Electric worm?
Electric worm?
How do you
Gear?
use that? Feed it to the dragon. When he eats this worm, it'll send a strong electric pulse that'll short out the device on his head.
Okay.
Great!
Fun too.
Hey, wait a minute. Do Shigura even eat worms?
Good point. Shigura definitely eats fish, but maybe not worms.
Oh, okay. So I gotta go fishing with this thing.
In that case, feed the worm to a fish first. Then feed the fish to the Shigura. How's that?
Sounds good.
But wait, how are we gonna get a fish to eat that worm thing?
Do you always have to be so negative? I bet you don't have too many friends.
That's not true.
First you catch a fish, right? And then what you need to get the fish to eat the electric worm is an aquarium. Fish pick and choose their bait when you're fishing, but in an aquarium, they'll eat almost anything.
Okay.
Oh, so you've already got the plans for an aquarium. Then all you need now are the materials. Once you've made the aquarium, feed the electric worm to a fish in it. Then feed the electrically charged fish to the Shigura. Simple, isn't it?
No, it's
Good
not.
luck. Bye then. Hope
It's
it
not
works.
simple at all.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Osmond.
Okay, so now that we got to the middle stage of the dungeon, we have to give you a convoluted quest. Yeah. Also, play golf to get the aquarium materials or something. Exactly. I can't lie. Yes, I too had a hand in the electric worm research. Okay. Whatever you say, dude. Energy pipes. Can I take a picture of the computer? Damn, picture. Delete all useless pictures. Eat a worm. Oh yeah. What does it look like she can do? Air cleaner. This villager is you can pocket stuff. Plant trees, water them, chop them down. Balloon fight his way up. Oh, you can ride a gyroid. They have progressed shit too far. The gyroids are this Honeyw, I mean. They based on some real world object. I love how Mayor Need is with us for those scenes. Okay. Gotta build an aquarium. Wait, I thought it would be a build thing. Hold on. Oh, cool. Build aquarium. How do I make a fish tank? Key item you're required to make in chapter 4. Oh, holy shit. Well, maybe he tells you if you didn't already get it. I happen to have already made it, so it's not a crafting thing. It's an idea. Shit, man. Yikes. One of the first things we made. View fish parameters. Feed fish. Okay, so I have to select a fish from my inventory. Hopefully I still have some on me. Potato cake is technically a different thing, I guess. Please tell me I saved some fish. It's a weapon. This is here. I think I have to catch a fish. Shit. Kind of fish matter. Oh, cactuars are based on them too? That's cool. I don't think I can buy bait anywhere either. She's not. Interesting. Robocalls. I haven't done fishing in this game since this was a bonus stream title. I think nothing will happen ever if I use the wrong kind of bait. Is that correct? Callers leaving voicemails. But sea fish would work. Triggered by sea-dwelling fish. I have to pull up a fishing FAQ if I don't get something to pop here soon. I don't think the game tells you if the bait's like valid or not. I'm not sure how long you have to wait. Wait, here we go. I actually did feel some bites there, so. I forget if I'm supposed to pull in the direction of the fish or against the fish. Probably against the, or in the direction of the fish. Is that it for the direct? It ended with Animal Crossing. Seems like a good ending. Son of a bitch. That's cool then. They didn't give a release date for Animal Crossing, I assume. Kirby's Epic Yarn, New Super Mario Bros. U. They just need to get everything that was for Wii U onto the Switch, I think. 2019. I can just wait. As long as I get to the don't get to the danger zone, I think we're fine. Caught Bobo. Okay. Put in aquarium. Great. Feed fish. Electric worm. To drop the bait. That's funny. It's one of those systems, like, they put a lot of effort into it. Bobo ate an electric worm and was shocked. I want to give it to I guess maybe I just need to have it in the aquarium to give it to Shingala. Okay. Now I'm worried that it's possible to put give him the wrong fish, you know? Hope that's not true. So let's go make sure we're all repaired and then save. Then we'll try to progress. Oh, there was no actual footage of Animal Crossing? Gotcha. Sort of like the Metroid Prime 4 announcement. Just kind of hoping. Oh, I didn't see that, but I can imagine. Get him the fast fish. I think that scene works better if Sid dies.
I'll do my best.
Oh god, are they serious? Oh, I see what I have to do. You're kidding, right? It didn't totally respawn, did it? did not. Thank God. Hey! Time. Yeah, right. If you had Dark Souls messages in this game. Time for golf?
Shingala!
PPSSPP is such a perfect emulator.
The device is off.
I guess it's nice to give them money for the game, but they've got basically everything on Steam from Final Fantasy now, right?
Is he all right?
Very few, if any,
He's
exceptions.
really exhausted.
We'd better get him back to the water.
See if I can get him here without him getting up and moving. Marty is sitting right above the laptop, just staring me down.
What are you doing following us in your condition? Huh? I told you it was dangerous, didn't I?
1-2 in tactics.
What am I gonna do with you? Max, Monica, I have a favor to ask. Go to the seashore where the other Shigura are and bring back some medicine that will work on Shingala. I can't get away from here myself.
Oh boy. Okay, pal. We'll do it. We'll be back.
But even if we do find this beach where the Shigura are, how are we gonna find the medicine? It might help if we could talk to the other Shigura.
Maybe we can.
Huh? Oh yeah, Luna Lab.
Hi, Marty.
Yep. I bet they can knock something together that'll let us talk to the sea dragons.
I bet you're right.
So hungry. Maybe that's Lab 2 will work for that. Let's see. Ben, what are you doing? Ooh. I really like Tactics Advance. I never played Tactics Advance 2, but it definitely had that just one more turn feel to it. I liked it. I think I liked it better mechanically than Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, so the story is not as good. I guess the story is a lot less convoluted, which is kind of nice. Okay. Let's go back to the future. Oh, really? Yeah, I never played Advance 2 at all. And you said it improves on the formula even more? I like the whole idea in the first Tactics Advance game about it being a bunch of kids reading a book called Final Fantasy that get like warped into a fictional universe. It was a cool idea. I really like the tutorial mission being the snowball fight. That was very clever. Laws are optional and determined by the mission instead of being random based on date. Oh, I prefer that. It's more authored. Does Laboratory 2 focus on teaching people how to speak to animals? Is this the Doolittle Lab? Just can't revive people. Okay. I really did like the law system. I think it should be an incentive.
But you're a...
I know what you're thinking. What's a kid doing in a place like this, right?
Yeah, how come?
You shouldn't judge a book by its cover. This lab relies on sheer ability. The more brains you have, the higher your position. It's only natural.
He probably has like 15 PhDs.
So that means you're the smartest person here then?
I guess you could say that.
It's
By
not
the
a thing
way,
in
I
Japanese
know about
fiction.
you folks recovering the origin points Griffin destroyed. And now you're on a quest to restore the world. I just had the computer run an analysis. I even know what you're searching for.
What? Really? A device to talk to sea dragons, right?
Huh? Don't you want to go 10,000 years in the past?
Oh, well, that too. But first we need a machine to let us talk to those sea dragons.
No, we don't. No, if he can give you the machine to go 10,000 years in the past, let's do that
A
first.
translation device.
Yeah, thankfully science does not require the use of your eyes.
There's one already?
Yes,
Of course they do.
Shigura are very important creatures to us here at the lab. Once a year, they come from the South Island to the shore here. When they do, they bring a stone called the Luna Stone with them. That stone has the mysterious ability to rapidly increase human brain power. Thanks to the Luna Stone, this lab
I've just
is
been
home to
using
the
it to
world's
open
best
gates.
thinkers. So it's vital that we be able to communicate with the Shigura too. That's why we've already developed a Shigura translation device. Hey, you!
Yes, sir?
Go get me the shell talkie.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Here you go.
Thanks.
So we can talk to the sea dragons with this?
Well, sort of. You'll only be able to understand Shigura with a comparatively high level of intelligence. Not Shigura children, for example.
I guess that means a chat with Shingala is out. Thanks, Dr. Knob. We'll be back.
See you then.
Hey, Cappy. How you been? Good seeing you. I've been doing well. The Xenosaga is so cheap to vote for right now. People put it on her anniversary subblock. We played it for another like 3 hours. Well, actually, it won the vote, didn't it? Right, I forgot it was in the queue. Not even cheap to vote for. So we'll be finishing it in a couple months. Get a couple games to clear out first. Getting used to some of these like standard sound effects you hear in games, movies, and TV shows. Yeah, we can try to get Xenosaga Episode 2 on there, right? I heard people don't like 2, but they like 3. Is that true? Something with the art style change and the battle system gets changed significantly. Yeah. Seems like it's a cool setting. Episode 2 winning the vote in 2022. It could happen. Stranger Things. I think Xenosaga was on the sheet longer than any other game when it won. Okay. Let's see. I need to go back to the cave here, don't I? And I can probably go in the dungeon again, I'm guessing. Most of the trimming, I'm guessing, is apparent in the third one, right? It's the third one is when they realize they can't make it into 6 episodes. I gotta wrap it real fast. Go to the beach where the other Shigura are. Make sure I save first and then we'll go. So post episode 2 was trimmed and the rest was crammed into 3. Right. Let's see what the other invention I need here is. Oh good, wow. Glad I checked that. I was worried it wasn't gonna let me. I was gonna be super stuck. Much longer dungeon, okay, cool. I think this next level should be... Oh, is this no ride pod? Uh-oh. Oh wait, no, I think it's no healing. That's fine. This next level should be enough to max out the ride pod core, which is exciting. Building to that for a while. Can't restore health or restore abnormal statuses, that's fine. Lucky. PS4. Oh, awesome, Serp! 10 out of congratulations, that's really cool. I feel like every single time you do it, the chance that you can do it seriously and permanently gets larger and larger, right? Trying to get an opportunity like that for Jaden with his music. Really want to get him a real project, real deadlines. It was kind of just chance that landed you there in the first place, right? Is there much difference between the PS4 and PS2 versions, Prodigious? I was kind of under the impression this was just a straight port. Got it, because it was easier to stream. I guess I've seen some mild graphical glitches around Max, but that's about it. Nice. Oh, had a treasure chest key in it. Perfect. That would have been annoying if you had used the thing to open it in the first place, right? Wait, is that not an antidote? I'm confused. Always done. Maybe my talisman blocked it? Is that what that is? Huh. That's really weird. Okay. Maybe it's janky if it trap poisons you. There's one major in first university decided against it. Randomly got the response for Hollow Knight because I was hanging around in their Discord. It's really awesome, man. I'm so into that as an outsider. If I got a chance to New Game Plus Life, I might take a localization route. Oh, thank you, Leon. Right. Good call. I was just puzzled that it wasn't giving me any feedback. Like, it didn't pop up and say, hey, there's a reason why this isn't working. Just nothing was happening when I was pressing the button. I'm surprised the seal didn't work then. I know, right? You think you'd primarily want to do it English to German? Yeah. Right, because you don't have to, like, really, you let them ask questions about exactly how much you did on Hollow Knight. You can totally be like, responsible for German translation on Hollow Knight. Technically true, right? Let them clarify. That'd be awesome, Yukubo. Oh, that'd be really cool, sir. Are there any particular challenges with going Japanese to German versus Japanese to English? Kind of just general challenges of Japanese apply for both languages. A little late on the magic crystal. I know you got NDAs and stuff, Yukubo, but are you currently working for a studio where you think that that could happen? Japanese to English to German and back to Japanese. Cool. Fix my stuff, please, and upgrade it. Hey, we've got the Master Grade Core. Can I just read what that trophy is? Achieve Steve the Ride Pod's Master Grade Core. Alright. So now I can just focus on, shield, I guess. Samurai arm. Oh, that was the thing that Flarechi was recommending earlier. Gotcha. Big energy pack. Ooh. 300 now? No kidding. That makes a difference. Yeah, right, Leon? No, that project that Tomato's doing right now, where he's playing through FF6 and he's hacked it so that it displays the original Japanese, the Super Nintendo translation, the GBA translation, a fan translation, and then Google Translate. And Google Translate is almost always completely wrong. I think it was good enough for us to get around when we were in Japan. That's about the extent of it, though. I took Mandarin Chinese for 4 years high school. It got pretty hardcore towards the end. Like, the teacher kind of treated it like a college course. And that is not enough to know anything about Chinese. It's just a really, really hard language. It seems like Japanese is comparable or harder in some respects. I whiz-bang through the level now with these new roller skates. They look so stupid. I love it. Alright, now I'm officially faster than I am. Oh. They have to die several times before they die for real, I guess? Do you hate when that happens? I kind of feel like, that happened to Kat, actually. He had a job out here where someone told him to apply for it, like, while he was working at Smith's, the really miserable job at the grocery store. Usually when someone tells you, hey, you should apply for this, that means that you have it. Like, you should go personally talk to the boss. And then the guy never got back to him. And he had to go from, like, being in a mode where he was comfortable with suffering at Smith's to briefly thinking, having senioritis, like I'm out of here soon, to not being out of there again. Yeah. Cause those guys to respawn. Benedict Timothy Kittleton Cumbercat, what have you done? You tore this thing, you jerk. How could you? Well, Ben's a Ben. Toll's a toll and a roll's a roll. And a harpy hope even harder. Figured you're blah 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 blah. Yeah. Oh, but I saw a really interesting thread about that it's like, sometimes it's really important to include localization at an earlier stage if you can. I guess it depends on the dev and the project. Makes sense. Probably don't have the money to include it that early. An hour a day of sentence flashcards and listening comprehension for 3 months would put you at equivalent level as a college course, right? Yeah. I could buy that. Remember, I surprised Andrea early on by my kind of flippant attitude to most undergrad courses. They're mostly very little that you will learn in those courses that you could not learn through your own private research in this day and age. Grad school is a little different, mostly because of the connections and the people that you're working with, especially depending on the field. So the structure can be nice. The fact that you're paying for it can make you take it more seriously. Yeah. I've totally sat down before. I'm gonna do this for fun. Totally don't do it at all. The hell? Stripping bombs on me? After half a semester, you've already exhausted your prior knowledge. Sooty looks like Lucy from Disenchantment, Eric Andre's character. Sand Molar. It seems like immersion is really important for understanding Japanese, maybe more so than any other language. Most of the localization personalities I know that know Japanese have spent a lot of time living there. And immersion is certainly the way you're gonna get really, really good at it. But I think the difference between, like, passing okay at Japanese and, like, completely fluent in Japanese is a much larger gap than for most Romance languages, for instance. It was definitely true for Mandarin. English skills, less from education, less from exposing yourself to the language constantly, right? Hi, Ben. Bye. Nice. Upgrade the ride pod. What do we got? Oh, I'm short by like 28 XP. Alright, good on this thing. I gotta pop out and talk to him every time anyway, so it's not a big deal. Things getting tanky. So we're gonna get to the halfway point of Dark Cloud 2 next week, which means we are gonna. Oh shit! This is a. Yikes. Okay. So I can take the alternate exit from this one. I'll also just try to level up Monica a little bit. Let's see. Let's repeat this stage and see if I can level her up. Yeah, I agree, Yukipo. That's really your chance, right? If you live in a bilingual household. Yeah. Me too. It was especially bad in New Mexico. I know enough from like a year of high school Spanish and some cognates to kind of pick up on little things here and there, but that's about the extent of it. Oh man, I'm getting a lot of XP. Oh boy. This is definitely optimal the way I'm currently doing this. Can I swap directly to the ride pod from there? I can. Okay, I think that might be faster. It's at least comparable. This is where I wish there was like a button combination to switch directly instead of 2 steps. I feel like the obscene amount of XP I'm getting right now for each of these skills is really telling me I should not have been leveling anyone but the ride pod up to this point. As soon as the ride pod, it became trivial for me to win stuff. So I feel like if they ever make a Dark Cloud 3, my personal preference would be to set it so that whenever you gain experience, it goes into a central pool, which you can then assign to weapons as you choose, instead of it being based on who the character is that picks up the item. It's fundamentally identical to the way it actually works in this game, it's just less work. Oh shit. A lot of the English courses in Japan have very poor materials and recordings. Excuse me, I think I hit mute in time there. Yeah, like, cross-section of people fluent in both language with people that can teach. Being able to teach is really hard. Get big exposure to that with, like, trying to teach somebody how to play a board game, right? I know a lot of people who are really good at board games and really enjoy board games and they're fun to play with, but they're absolutely awful at explaining how to play them. Main mode of practice is the teacher reading a sentence while the students repeating it. Yeah, that's not terribly helpful, is it? I can get quick with menuing here. Gotta work on my speedrunning capabilities. I think that's technically faster if I can get comfortable with it. Just memorize the inputs instead of checking it every time. Jonathan, Charlotte, Jonathan. His written English was bad. Eventually I might get efficient for me to fight them as Monica, but I don't think we're at that point just yet. Guess I could also go to the next level and just hope that an early enemy will drop the Luna Stone and just get the hell out of there. Definitely feel incentivized to delay leveling anyone but the ride pod for as long as humanly possible so they get a boatload of XP. More reward for the same overall effort. Japan's really expensive. Cost of living is like as bad or worse than many of the expensive cities in the US. These magic stones that apparently make you smart, we use them to throw into conch shells. For reasons. The fact that I can change directly from Ride Pod to Monica on this screen, but not with the shortcuts, interesting too. Oh yeah, that's way faster once I have the muscle memory for it down. So I can start moving the cursor before the screen actually finishes loading in.
Looks like we got them all.
No, absolutely not. Okay, she got some good weapon XP there. Let me see how she's doing on weapons. Wise Owl Sword +3. Crystal Broussard +3. So I'm gonna get those to +5 and then evolve them, I think. Decide where I'm taking both of those weapons, I guess. Monica's weapon chart. Wise Owl Sword becomes either Lamb Sword or Small Sword. Small Sword's not the sexiest name, is it? Oh, but if I go to Small Sword, I can eventually get the Dark Cloud weapon, which seems like we should try to go for that. This chart doesn't really help me because it doesn't tell me how good the weapons are. Benedict! Stop that! Don't ruin my cool... Broke it. It's really sad. Alright, well, let's see if I can fix it later. There's no reason for him to do that. I got this cool, like, scroll thing that Andrea got me in Nepal. And just tore it off the wall. What a dick. I tried feeding them when they started being antsy yesterday, and they just kept being antsy, so... it's unsolvable. Big streamer on Twitch who did it and then transitioned to streaming. There's a webcomic artist who got popular doing a comic on Roman teaching Japanese kids English. Haha. Any bachelor's degree or higher? Not necessarily in language or even teaching? Wow. It's impressive. Also do Wise Owl Sword, Lamb Sword, Muramasa. Play with them before stream, wear them out. No, the reason they're being jerks isn't because, it's because they're hungry. Like, they're totally fine before food time. And then the reason they continued being a jerk yesterday after, I fed them early was because they associate the end of stream, like the chip sign-off sound, with getting fed. So they were asking for food again. And then after stream's over, they're totally chill. Like, if I feed them at 6 o'clock, they just go and lie down on the couch and they don't do anything for the rest of the stream. But now you see them doing this. Jesus, Marty. Well, you almost saw them do that. Bolted away because I leaned forward slightly, which clearly meant I was getting up to feed him at that moment. Alright, let's try doing it with just Monica. I'll save really quick. It's possible. It could happen. Japanese exchange and teaching. There's Marty again. Cat cam's on. Hi, Marty. Can I help you, buddy? The big problem is he's not graceful, so if he tries to jump over close to... Ow, jeez. If he tries to jump onto the desk right in front of him, he's gonna knock the whole computer station over. Alright, let's switch to cheese. It's actually closer to a full heal. I guess I gotta level up for all that. I hope that thing, because that thing is meant to be fought with a ride pod, but I don't have access to. Gaijin teachers and bands stuck with everyone because they're quota that can't quit concerts. Please get down from the air. It's like the first attack in my combo hits him. Once I got him down, it's fine. Try to fix my sword here. I really hope one of those guys isn't supposed to have the exit drop, because I'm going to kill everything but them. Idol culture is not one of them. Cheese back after this, man. Shit. Shit. Damn it. She always does a jump attack when I don't want her to. Oh shit! Son of a bitch! Ugh. Man. That time she didn't backflip when I told her to backflip. Good morning, Musume. Sounds like a beverage name in a band. Alright, let's try this again. I wonder if I can look up what enemy, because it's a static enemy that always drops a thing, right? Apparently. Let's see if there's a specific FAQ for that. Your first song was Morning Coffee. That's cool. Improvements. Okay. One of the monsters of that type has the gate key. Okay. Neo Vanguard. I have a sinking feeling that that's one of the robots. Yup, totally is. Immune to magic. Takes almost no damage for my attacks. Guess I can try using consumable attack items on them. Hold on. I know I have some. Oh boy. Fire damage when thrown, bombs, great damage. Well, that's better than what I'm doing with my sword. Because if it doesn't drop it, I should reload, right? So I don't have the resources to kill it with anything else. Or I could just die before it dies. Because I can't hit it when it flips like that. Man, rough. Really rough. I feel like they totally did that on purpose too, right? They made the... Oh, and actually the title screen is one of the moon murals. That's totally not important to the plot at all. I think this is the second Monica-only floor where I have to kill enemies that are intended to be fought with the ride pod. Sword magic. You mean the armband? The armband doesn't do any damage right now. I gotta kill this thing so I can safely fight the other things. Oh, you have learned how to use Magic Absorb Blade. A skill that allows you to absorb the energy of elemental attacks, such as fire, while guarding. When you swing your sword, it fires back as magic. Wow. Yeah, that helps, doesn't it? Oh, but it doesn't do enough damage. Okay. That does. Please drop the thing. I beg you. That wasn't the thing. Oh, it did drop the thing. Fuck yeah, let's get out of here before we die. I grab the geostone too. Percentage of enemy health has anything to do with the sword stats. Gotcha. I can only absorb it from those mage enemies. Has her sword always been able to do that, or is that unique to the new one that I just unlocked? I didn't even notice those little tick marks next to it before. You're a real jerk, you know that? As soon as you started typing. Ready to go. Bracing for impact. Shit. Really can't die because we got lucky that the first of like 7 robots in this level dropped the thing we need to exit. It's gonna be up, isn't it? It's totally up. Phew. That was rough. Save the game. Excellent. Perfect. Go get my new shit. Really like this move menu. This game would be really tedious if it didn't let you just warp anywhere at any time. You had to like go to the train and wait for a train animation. Scyther raid.
What comes after the fishing contest?
The Finny Frenzy.
Finny Frenzy?
That's right. Contestants race their fish of choice to see which one is the fastest.
Great idea, Mayor. You outdid yourself this year.
One of those features is so convenient, you'd swear they added it for the sequel, but it was in the first as well. Really? Being able to warp around? That popped up just based on in-game time, not related to the level I was just entering. Alright, back to ride pod only. My nice new goofy rollerblades. Ooh, another bandit coin. Nice. I can get that for Monica. Because I want to have that in all of my weapons eventually. But I don't really know when I would do a dungeon with anything other than the ride pod, so... Doesn't seem like there's a lot of incentive to do that. God, my defense is so high on this thing now. I take no damage. It's great. Oops. Tomorrow is going to be a big variety day. We're playing Okage Shadow King and Cultist Simulator and Castle in the Darkness and Death's Gambit. I might try to go live a few minutes early just to help with schedule drift. It's interesting that there don't appear to be any enemies that just strictly counter the ride pod. Originally, Game Saucer just had Castle in the Darkness. 4 hours, yeah. But he really liked your Cultist Simulator stream. Swap weapons. Hopefully there's a level 3 version of that. I don't look forward to when it weakens. Yeah, I have no idea what to call the second episode of Cultist Simulator, so I just called it Hour 2. Usually I've been able to grab onto something for an episode title. Boss name, a level name, run number, week number in game, chapter number. Cultist Simulator. I'm playing it again. Oh, just have to cavern for real this time, right? Fucking self cave, man. Tell you what. But I think it was a sealed cave that really held us back. Altered Spookle. I think my current playthrough is going very badly, so it might be good if I do screw up and game over so I can start again with the information I've procced from the first episode. It's a cool game though. I see why you included it, Leon. It somewhat reminds me of idle games like Cookie Clicker. It's different enough to not be quite that. It feels like sort of the more gamey evolution of that. The Cookie Clicker was also fun in that, and like paperclips and the like, and that you didn't know what the hell was going on. You kind of put, oh, I see what's happening. Oh, that's cool. Sort of genre where like a tutorial would actually take away from the experience because it's about discovery. Society of St. Hydra. I guess that assumes that that cult ends when I start another run in the episode. But I also assume my cult is more or less random each game I play. Depending on which cards we cover. Must be some more mimics here. Now that I have the maximum core, I should take a second and look through the invention guide and see if there's any, like, rad ride pod inventions that I can get that I haven't unlocked yet. I appreciate that, Leon. All those medals. Yeah. No, honestly, I feel like if you had a tutorial, it would actually rob the game of its mystique, too. I wonder if that's something that you can only pull off with video games. Like, could you make a board game? Well, no, I guess not. It has to be a video game thing. Never mind. Could you make a board game that has no instructions? No. You have no arbiter to disallow illegal moves. I guess you can make a board game where the person running the game, the game master, referee, knows the rules, but at no point can tell the rules to the players and they have to discover it. That might be cool. Oops. No. I agree, the tutorial would be detrimental. Alright, I'm gonna wrap there because we're not gonna get through the next floor in 2 minutes. 1 minute. Awesome.